and it was gruesome. Stone huts, 100 people living in this hut, and in freezing cold. There were iron bars on the window, and of course starvation, no food. But a group of Landsberg citizens banded together, and they bought the site, and they are keeping it as it was, as a memorial. And since that time, many countries who lost their Jewish population at Kaufering have built memorials there. And the 103rd also has a memorial there in Kaufering, and it was created with the assistance of a man named Maurice Lipka. While we were there, I met a gentleman who was also climbing over the barbed wire fence pretty much, and it turns out he was the son of an SS officer, because the SS officers' quarters was located right next to the Kaufering concentration camp huts. And it was a very unique moment in time, because here he is, the son of a Nazi, and here I am, the daughter of a soldier who liberated this camp. And here are the two of us together on this spot. So I guess history really does heal, and we have been in communication since that time, but a very painful part of history.
And I finally met people who also had lost their dads, because I thought I was the only one. I said, why don't I have a dad like all the other children? And my mom would say, oh, there's a lot of them that, lost their fathers. But until we really got involved with the 103rd, that's when I finally found others who had lost their dads. So it was kind of a closure for me.
What'd y'all talk about? What did you and the other children who'd lost their father, what kind of conversations did y'all have?
Oh, I'm trying to think. Just comparing that some of them, the fathers came back, and they were amazed to find out, that my father didn't, but my sister's father did. And, that we united. And we were so happy to find this group of people who had been meeting for years. And when we came, we were known as the sisters. We'd come in the door together. There's the sisters, the rest of the people would say. And they like wrapped us up and told us some of the things that we didn't know about the war. And, I finally found, there were other people who lost children, lost their fathers. And it was very uplifting for me, and for you too, just
yes.
because we were able to find out so much more through these people who had lived through it.
I think that's a trait of the greatest generation, that they did not speak about it. They did their jobs, and they came home, and they attempted to live normal lives. And I've spoken to many children of soldiers who fought in Europe, and they had the same feeling, that their dads did not speak of it. Some went on to live normal, productive lives, but there are several who did not. They couldn't bury the memories. And the children, I think, do absorb the brunt of those experiences, because a child knows in the back of his or her mind that things just aren't right. Their lives, something is different. And you can't really put a finger on it as a child. You don't know what your father has experienced. And, the mood swings, the life on the edge behavior, that type of thing. And you have no idea, say like there. So it was very helpful for us to meet other children of soldiers who did have the same experience. So
Because my mother would tell me there's a lot of children that lost their fathers too, but again, didn't meet any until I was an adult. And that was almost like a breath of fresh air, you know, that others experienced what I had.
perhaps
And
you could
we
tell.
were known as the sisters when we'd come in, because we were some of the younger generation yet, because these were vets. And we'd walk in, oh, there's one sister, and then Pat would come behind me, oh, there's the other sister. And they just embraced us, and, you know, and told us stories, more stories about, you know, living with war.
Perhaps you could tell Mark about the night when Mom received the telegram.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that.
Oh,
About to get some reading.
yeah, let me stop and think a minute. Because I was small. How old did I say? I was a year and a half or two. And I can remember this. The doorbell rang, and Mom answered the door and came in, and we had a piano in our living room. And she sat down and opened it, and then collapsed to the floor. And I can remember that, and I had to only be like a year and a half, but it made such an impression on me. But it was the notification that he had been killed in the war, and she just fell off the piano bench. I can still see that.
Do you want to read me that telegram that she got? That you were a baby,
Oh.
and I think it's right underneath here.
This is what my dad wrote?
Yes, I want to do that one too.
Oh.
You want to do that letter first that he wrote? Some of his
Well,
letters
it's
that he wrote to
pretty
her?
long.
Well, y'all can figure out some together that you'd like to, and I'll restart this, I think. Since it's,
And what do you think?